Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to yet another review, and today I'm taking a look at something I've had in my collection for a while, and that is the Master Grade Gundam AGE-1 Titus. So once again, I will mention, because this is an older kit that's been on my shelf for quite some time and I don't have the box anymore, you may not have noticed that because of the super convincing effects happening right now that makes it look like it's right there, but I don't have that anymore. So I could be missing some parts, I could be missing some accessories that may have loosened up over time, so this is more of a general taking a look at this particular kit. If you haven't seen the video yet, I did do a full review of the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal, which featured one of the coolest little additions to a Master Grade I've ever seen, and that is this venting in the outer armor. It's not from the original design, and I think it makes it look really damn cool. I don't know why Bandai have never done that again. Wait, what is that? Is that what I think it is? Is that a sponsor? Oh! Are you looking for a game to play while building your gunpla? Why not try Raid Shadow Legends? Raid's a tough game. It's got 10 challenging dungeons, each with a super tough boss that requires specific teams and strategies to beat. And that's just the start. If you care about storytelling, it's got an awesome, fully voiced campaign, and there are 13 factions, like dwarves, orcs, the undead, or badass human knights, and a lot more. With all those factions, Raid also has an incredible 460 champions, Raid's super active, with over 200,000 clans fighting and competing right now, and with over 25 million players, Raid's the hottest mobile game around. You combine all those things and you get a game that has basically endless content and infinite ways to play. Like I've said so many times before, Raid is the perfect game to build gunpla with. Just slap it down, hit auto, and grind away. And this month, Raid's got their biggest ever update out. The main event is already here, the Doom Tower. It's a giant tower filled with 120 floors, a bunch of secret challenge rooms, and 12 seriously badass bosses to take on. And to help everyone get started in the tower, the team are giving away super special champion, Bulwark. He's absolutely awesome in Clan Boss, and he's also going to be a huge help in the tower against those bosses. If you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit that link in the description and get your free Void Champion, an XP booster, 50 gems, some energy refills, and even an Ancient Shard as soon as you get in game. Just look at this cool champion you'll get for free. You'll find your extra rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. So anyway, there is the Master Grade AGE-1 Titus out of the box, snapped together a couple of years later, but I did just panline a little bit of it right there. As usual, I just used standard Gundam marker panel lining markers. I used brown for the vast majority of this, only I did some black and the blue, I didn't do everything. But I just thought the brown would look nice because this kit is mainly red. Just for a bit of a comparison, I did just use grey on the standard AGE-1 Normal because I thought it would suit. It's very classic Gundam style, so I just thought the warm brown would look good with the red. Besides that though, this is straight built, and pretty much what you'll get out of box. Of course, this does share a lot in common with the standard AGE-1 Normal because the torso itself is the AGE-1 Normal because of the particular parts changing mechanisms of the AGE-1 from the Gundam Age anime. This without a doubt is one big, bulky, heavy hitter of a Gundam, and it is so cool. The colors may or not be to your taste, it is a lot of red on a little bit of blue, but if you're not a big fan of these colors, this could look awesome if painted up in one uniform, matching color scheme. So there's a quick side-by-side with the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal, and you can see that pretty much the entirety of the torso is exactly, and I mean exactly, the same. And when I say torso, I mean the torso and the head because the head is also the same. That A in the chest looks fantastic. I've always loved the way this just catches the light beautifully. The venting in the chest goes through to the next layer, which is a beautiful touch. And the fact that the Age Gundams have a spoiler never gets old for me. Just look at that. That is such a fun backpack design right there. I love that. Most of the AGE-1 Titus's attacks are beam-based, coming from the actual mobile suit itself. So we do have the sections up in both shoulders for the spikes for the beam tackle, as well in down in the knees, but we'll take a look at those when we get to the accessories. Honestly, when it comes to Master Grade Gundam designs, and I mean actual Gundams, this is probably one of the most unique out there. It's big, it's buff, and it looks like it packs quite a punch. As for some size comparisons, there it is side by side with the Granddaddy RX-78-2. So the Age Titus, of course, is bulkier, stockier, but seems to be a little bit shorter. Also, this is the RX-78-2 version 3.0, just in case you're wondering. Next up, there it is, side by side with the Master Grade Zaku 2.0, next to the Master Grade Gundam F91, and finally next to the Master Grade Shenlong EW. So now moving on to that 360-degree spin so you can see absolutely every angle of this kit, and this looks great. This is honestly such a unique master grade right here. It is a bit odd that Bandai actually was making master grade kits of what was technically a kids show, so we are lucky we got the ones that we got before they went and cancelled the whole line. Again, this is like nothing else. We still haven't seen the effect parts, but they're quite cool. But it's the AGE-1, once again rocking its spoiler and that A in the chest that grabs all of that light, mixed with some big, stocky, boxy limbs and those huge, round circular shoulders. This, once again, looks like nothing else. So now moving on to the accessories, and here's the Master Grade AGE-1 Titus with absolutely everything that it comes with. And this doesn't come with a crazy amount of stuff. Once again, the AGE-1 Titus doesn't have any kind of weapons per se, its body is a weapon. So what we get in here is mainly an array of effect parts. First up are the spikes for the knees and the shoulders, the effect parts around the wrists for the beam lariat, some alternate swappable fingers, and the 1/100 scale figure of Flit Asuno. As for that one there on the right, this is an alternate pilot figure because the one we already have in the cockpit, which looks like that right there, is a helmeted version. As far as I know, this may be an exclusive to this kit, but I'm not necessarily sure. So as for the hands we have in here, we've got those fists we've been seeing already. I will mention that there is articulation at the thumb, but not the rest of the fingers. Next up then we've got this pair of extremely long straight fingers that kind of look like karate chopping hands. And these are bizarrely long to say the least. I mean, what is that? Check that out. There is the standard AGE-1 Normal's hand. It reminds me of those weird yellow guys from Final Fantasy VIII. Strange. I get that this Gundam is meant to be a big, buff, heavy hitter, but those fingers are just strange. As for the swapping of the fingers, it is quite simple. You just pull off the pair that you don't want, attach on the pair that you do, and that is it. They hold on good enough. They can fall off every now and then, but they hold on most of the time. Last up then, we've got these pair of hands that makes the AGE-1 Titus looks like it's ready to grapple. Once again, these fingers are a little bit bizarrely long, but because they're bent, they don't look as strange. Yeah, I think these ones look fine. It's just those straight ones that look so crazy odd. These just are the perfect size for smashing some enemy heads. Next up in here now, we've got the spikes for using with the shoulders and the knees. These actually come with their own rack, which is pretty cool. As far as I know, there isn't enough to fill up this rack that I haven't lost to, but I guess we're about to find out. Wait, no, it's got 14 holes in it. There's 14 of these, so that seems right. So these just pop into the shoulder, as simple as that right there. They hold in tight enough. And the concept behind these is pretty simple. They're spikes for ramming your enemy with. So just popping the rest into the other shoulder, and this right here is what we get. So once again, these are the beam effects for those shoulder tackles, but if you were making a custom, these could be some cool post-apocalyptic or diesel punk looking shoulder spikes. Pretty awesome. This spikeage doesn't stop there because we've got another 3 slots in each of the knees for those beam knee kicks. Once again, those pop in pretty easy. That's what they look like stuck into the knee. And there is every single one of them attached for that full beam spikeage. Once again, this does look pretty cool as it is, but imagine the possibilities with some paint. So last up in here then are these pink halo effect parts for around the wrist, which are known as the beam lariat. Attaching these is incredibly simple. You just pop off the arm just above the red section of the wrist. They slot on in there, and then you just pop the wrist section back on. Super simple. And that right there is what they look like attached. My only real issue with any of the parts that are attached on here, any of these effects, is the fact that they're, well, you know, pretty much this same-ish color to a lot of the rest of the mobile suit. So I feel the effect in general is lessened because they're so similar to the red. They're definitely pretty cool, they're definitely unique, but I'm not sure why they didn't go for a color that would pop a little bit better against everything else. So now moving on to the build and the articulation on this thing. And I have to say that I can't really comment on that too much because I built this at least 4 or 5 years ago. But as I've found with this, and I've also found with this, they tend to loosen up quite a bit over time. Like, all I have to do is give this guy a little bit of a wiggle and it'll just face plant. It's loosened up a lot since I built it a long time ago. This one definitely hasn't loosened up as much, but it does tend to flop a bit at the ankles. So it seems to be the ankles that are a bit troublesome in these particular kits. But anyway, on here, We've got a giggity 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 goo neck. Ball joint up top, so there it is looking all the way down. Or looking all the way up even. There it is all the way down. The side to side pivot. It can look side to side all the way around. The shoulder here can disconnect to have even more articulation. There's the shoulder all the way to the front, all the way to the back, arm all the way down, arm all the way up. The arm has a very cool gimmick where that ball section moves inside the outer armor of the ball section. That is cool. And of course that arm can rotate all the way around. Arm rotates all the way around at the upper arm. The arm right here is a 2-point bend. There's it all the way down. There's bend number 1. That's bend number 2. And that is a combination of both. We've got a ball joint wrist. The thumb here has a ball joint, and in the middle can flex like that. As for the ab crunch, that right there is all the way back. There it is all the way to the front, side to side. Finally then, at the waist, it can spin all the way around the full 360 degrees. Front skirting armor on ball joints, there's it all the way down. There it is all the way up. Side skirting armor down, up, with forward and back pivot. Next, we've got a double premium butt flap. There it is all the way down, all the way up, and flip out hatch. For using with the Dodds rifle, it does not have. As for the waist peg, it's on a rotating cylinder. And as for the kicks, there's it on the ground. There's the kick all the way up, we lost the side skirt. All the way out to the back, not bad. And as for the splits, there they are all the way out, drop them down. And yeah, no problem with the splits. Rotation on the leg is from there to there, so it is not all the way around. The knee is a 2-point bend, there it is straight. There's joint number 1 bent, that's joint number 2 bent. There is the combination of both, very nice. And that knee armor does move with the bend, so that is quite cool. So as for what we've got at the ankle, there it is all the way to the front, that is pretty good. Then all the way to the back, so that is all we're going to get there. And finally there's the side to side pivot, so it's pretty good. Definitely pretty good. The final thing worth mentioning here is when this shoulder is not plugged in, so it plugs in and locks into position like this, but when it's not plugged in, that is extremely loose, pretty much what you would have seen in a lot of kits, including the Age kits, Gym Sniper, Gym Colony, etc. So the articulation on the Master Grade Gundam AGE-1 Titus is actually really good. Some parts are a little bit loose and will pop off now and then. The shoulders can be loose when they're not locked in. The ankles are a little bit loose, but not too bad. Once again, I've had this for a while, and it was shipped all the way from Japan in a box full of hundreds of other Master Grades, so it's held up extremely well considering. Definitely a very nice Master Grade to pose. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and to me the Master Grade AGE-1 Titus isn't quite as premium as the Master Grade AGE-1 Normal. All the new parts are awesome, definitely, but they're not quite as groundbreaking and unique as the limbs and parts we would have seen on the AGE-1 Normal. I still am blown away by what they did with it, with those stickers that were thin plastic layers on the knees, the venting all over it. It still, to me, is a very impressive Master Grade kit. However, this is definitely a bit of a downgrade, does look a little bit toyish, and even though it is awesome, it's not quite as awesome, so that means it is silver tier. However, what that means is, it's exactly what I would expect from a Master Grade. I expect a lot from a Master Grade because they are my favorite line of gunpla, so that still means this is a very impressive kit. At the end of the day, it comes down to whether or not you like the design and concept enough. If you do actually like that aspect, I say 100% go for it. You will not regret it. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. Once again, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys. Whether you just watch my videos, like them, or support the channel on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. Like Craig Jury, Greg Humphrey, Kaiser721, Tyler Sanders, Caleb Engelhardt, Sean T, and the ambassador for Asymmetric Cats.